been hearing it for a while. Is the bottom coming? Is it about to drop? And I don't mean the beat that's about to drop. I mean, is the bottom gonna drop out of the stock market? Well, in this video, I'm gonna reveal how to spot the bottom of a bear market and what it takes for it to turn around. Now, first and foremost, you gotta understand that markets are driven by fear and greed, right? Fear and greed, which are the two very emotions you don't wanna drive any market, but it's just the name of the game, right? When there's fear, people start to bail out and it tends to overcorrect and we tend to have a bear market. But when there's greed and it seems like the sky's the limit, then everything buys and buys and buys and overbuys. And we see these cycles happen over and over. So the one thing you can count on is that there are always gonna be cycles, there's always gonna be bears, and there's always gonna be bulls, right? You're gonna see down times, we're gonna see good times. Question is, how do you know where the bottom is? And so if you understand the markets and the emotions that are behind it, it becomes more and more apparent. It's no doubt that in 2023, you're hearing a mixture, right? You're hearing some hope, but there's starting to be more of a sentiment of more fear than there is greed. Contrast that with after 2020, especially when you got into the latter end of 2020 into 2021 and things started to reopen, it seemed like nothing could go wrong, right? Buy, 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 buy. Interest rates are still at a record low. We're gonna take this down. And so the markets just started going sky high. People were even saying, wait a minute, the values of these stocks, they're too high, they're too high. Doesn't matter, buy! You know, so they kept buying, didn't matter how expensive it were. Real estate, it was kind of the same way, not as extreme, but we saw real estate. Everybody's fighting for the price, right? And so they're driving up prices and things were buy, you know, and it got to a point where eventually even real estate settled down, didn't it? It's happening the same thing in the stock market. You're seeing it start to settle down. Now, I would love to know, like, what are you seeing right now? What are some of the emotions you're seeing? Go ahead and put the comments here below. I'd like to hear your thoughts about where you think we are. Like, are you seeing more fear right now? Like, what's the sentiment? Because that kind of leads to my next point here. My next point is about this, is that the news is always wrong, okay? In fact, if you want to make sure that you make money in the markets, just ignore the news. Ignore it. The news, they're just trying to clickbait you anyways. They've learned that the only way to sell news is to get you to keep clicking, to keep staying on, and they're gonna tell you the same things you already believe. So they're just creating an echo chamber. They're just creating the very thing, you just hear your voice come right back to you. It's like, yes, that's what I thought. Oh yeah, it seems crazy, it seems bad. You know, you turn on Fox News, oh yeah, Biden's going down, it's bad, the Democrats suck, right? You watch CNN, Republicans suck, Trump should go to jail, right? And you got this all back and forth. They're just telling you the same thing you already believe. There is no news, right? It's no new information they're giving you. They're just telling you the same old crap you've heard over and over. The same is true with markets. Even if you watch financial news stations, they'll try to deliberate about it all day long, and that's why they have 24-hour news channels. They're gonna deliberate and try to figure out what's going on. What are the feds thinking? What can we speculate here? Until they're blue in the face, you wonder, why am I listening to these idiots, right? And granted, there's some good stuff you might hear, but for the most part, I would invite you to turn off the news. Right? Turn on the Weather Channel. That's great, okay? And who knows? Maybe you'll start wondering there's floods and earthquakes and hurricanes everywhere and tornadoes and the world's gonna end. That might be your problem too, right? But the truth is with the news, when it comes to financial news, they're trying to talk about the markets and whether stocks are gonna go up or down and what's happening. Is it a recession or not? We got strong labor markets, but at the same time, we got layoffs, we got unemployment. What's really happening here? They're not really telling you, okay? They don't want to tell you, and they're gonna keep it out. So if you turn off the news, which by the way, even when they tell you something's hot, that's when you know it's not. If everybody's saying, buy this, it was already bought. If people are making money in this, they already made their money, you're too late. If you hear it on the news, you've already missed on the opportunity. That's my big point for you. Hey guys, I would invite you, if you haven't done so, subscribe to our channel. We got lots more information to give you, lots more good stuff than just what we got here in this video. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share some of the key things that you're gonna see at the bottom of the bear market right now, but be sure to subscribe first. Okay, now, there's the emotional market cycle, right? Everything cycles through. And you'll kind of see here on this image here, I'm gonna make it easy for you. We're gonna use emojis, okay? We're gonna see the emojis. You can see the ups and the downs and how it tends to go through. Okay, so as you start to see it going down, and we've already seen 2022, the market started to go down. So we know we're on the downward cycle, but the question is, are we at the bottom? Notice at the bottom, you see anger and depression, right? Anger and depression. I'll tell you, if you want a good example of that, let's go back to the last financial crisis when we actually had the last bear market bottom. It hasn't been since really 2009. March 2009, we bottomed out. At that time, you heard people just in uproar about the stock market and how much money they've lost. I mean, they were uproar about real estate too, which is why a lot of people made money in real estate afterwards when it came back. But most people were in the stock market. They were whining and complaining that the stock market sucks. They didn't want to be in anything. They thought, maybe I should just be in cash. Maybe I should be in my backyard. Is the bank even safe? Because the banks are failing, right? Which we've heard that sentiment here recently too. So where are we? So some people might say, well, are we in anxiety? Are we denial? Maybe we're in panic or fear? I would actually challenge you that right now, as you're watching this, we're probably somewhere between denial and fear. So I don't think we're at the bottom yet, right? We're definitely not at the bottom. Denial, I mean, there's been some anxiety. I think we're in denial. Many people think this is the market bottom. That's why I have this video out right now, because there are people telling you, you know what, the worst is over. 2022, whew, glad we missed that year. Bottom's out, right? Not bottoms up. That's when it gets really bad. That's when you know when it's bottoms up, is when you're at the very bottom. So, but look at these last few market cycles we've had. Bear markets, the last global crisis. We had a good couple down years. 2007 started going down, 2008, bottomed out 2009. We had a good couple years there. How about before that? Y2K. Y2K, remember the market top, because this is the time I was investing in the market too. March of 2000, market was at the top, and then it came down until about March 2003. Here's the crazy thing. The market probably could have bottomed out right after 9/11. In fact, did you know the stock market started to recover after 9/11? It actually started to get better because people got out there being productive. Things were getting good. We're unified as a country. We were strong. And then 2002 hit, the worst year in the market cycle. When everybody thought we're out of the bear market, the worst was yet to come, because all of a sudden they found out that companies were cooking their books. We heard that with WorldCom, and we had companies like that. And Enron, if you remember Enron, these companies were lying on their numbers, and then nobody could trust the stock market, and it tanked 22% that year in 2002. That was the worst year that we had. And by the way, it took 15 years for most people to be able to get back to breaking even after they paid their fees before the market came back up. It was 2013 before it hit the height that was right around 2000. 13 years just from the market, 15 years for people just to get back to where they were, not counting inflation. So those are the bottoms. We're not there yet, guys. We're not even close. They're still saying that the valuations of stocks are way out of whack. It's still overbought. We created an everything bubble because all the money that was out in production, it was out being used because of the market cycle. There's too much money supply. Now the money supply has got to be cut off. I believe we're in denial right now. We deny that we're actually at a bottom, right? We're just in the middle of that route. We have more to go. There still hasn't been the massive fear in the markets. There hasn't been a panic. There hasn't been a panic where people are panicking to get out or just stay in. They're just panicking because they think they're losing all their retirement. Or anger, when they start getting mad, thinking that there's somebody to blame. We got to blame, remember the whole run on Wall Street that happened? That was the anger right there. The run on Wall Street was the anger. That panic and anger happens first before there's a recovery. We haven't got close to that, guys. Not even close. Here's the best time. This is my advice to you. The best time to know when we're at the bottom is when everybody says it's a bad time to be in. When everybody says either get out or stock markets suck, that is the time that you probably would want to buy. That's the time in real estate. When everybody said, oh, real estate's horrible. 2010, 2011, it bottomed out and people bought, and there's plenty of people, even people we've had on our podcast show, that have actually made millions upon millions of dollars buying after the last recession because they had money to invest at that time. Guys, we're not at the bottom yet. If you have people that believe in buy low, sell high, I'm telling you, we're not at the low yet. And we're definitely higher than we're probably gonna be. I'm not saying you're gonna sell. I'm just saying this ain't the bottom. Are you gonna ride it out? Or is this a time that maybe you might wanna get out? That question is up to you. Guys, if you think this is good, you wanna learn more, check out this next video about what to invest in while stocks are down.